So,
Rolling.
thank you. So to start off, welcome. All right. So, last couple times I apologize. Devin's been in charge.
I'm sorry you had to suffer through me.
Suffer through it. So,
Good thing I was sick.
Is anybody currently dealing with anything at their table that they need help with? Is there any story stuff that you need to have questions about? Anything I can help, any resources? What's up?
So the table I'm running here, is it also in the Rottweiss?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. I did not work that in the first session because I wasn't sure.
No, you're good. Yep.
Also,
Yeah.
tips, tricks for 7 people tables.
7 people table. Okay, so I think I've shown you the simplified initiative that I've done before. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's easy. You go, okay, you look at the person, you're right, you look at the person, you let go, roll this.
Oh.
And they go, okay, and they roll, okay, table goes this way around, the table goes this way around.
Gotcha.
And you explain, listen. Because that way it's much easier to figure it out, because otherwise you have to have like a stand and go like, all right, Timmy, you're after Sarah, you're after you just go, you're going around like this, or going around like this. I remind the players like, okay, if you see this person's on their turn, think about what you're going to do on your turn. If you see this person on their turn, see this person start going, okay, how does fireball work? You start thinking about what you're going to do. And if we do that, it's like, I play baseball, and it's like, you're on deck, you're like, okay, well, you can watch the picture and see what's going on and be able to pick up stuff that maybe the other players. Yes?
I play with a playmat dry erase playmat. I'll actually wet erase, and I'll write the initiative out right in front of everybody.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Kids can see it.
Any sort of having established easy, referenceable turn order. Yeah.
I was just talking with Nova about how to hear the end of the table, and Nova brought up a great idea, which is DMing from the side as if I was sitting here and I played the hero down here.
Okay.
Because when I'm over here, I have trouble hearing this far. The biggest 2 issues that when I was thinking about it is if I played with the screen, which I don't, that takes up a lot of the play. And the second issue is who's right behind me when I'm playing Dan. So normally I would say it'd be Dan, because Dan is normally the short table behind the tall table that I'm at. But if I'm like, hey Dan, you want to switch so that I'm not standing butt first at a table of teams, then I can work something out with the DMs around me on that, and that helps me with hearing it. I'm hard of hearing in one ear from taking it to him sort of in the face too hard. It's rough. I'm sure Tony's done that one more than me.
Never played in my hands. So, another thing I like to do is having players like asking me, okay, who do you want to have, kind of lead the group this time? Or having my DM buddy. It's usually the younger table will do that at. So, okay, who wants to be the helper DM? And in that way, you're like, okay, remember when I say how much something is or how far something is, write that down real quick. I'm going to use scrap paper. But notice the party, there's one particular kid that's kind of waxing and going off. It's, hey, want to be my helper today? Oh yeah, if they say no, it's like, that's cool. Like, not hurt my feelings. And all of a sudden you go, hey, because all of a sudden now you've got the notes taken. Right. And then it's not that you forgot. It's you go, hey, DM buddy, or hey, helper DM. How many goblins did I say it was? Oh, this many. Okay. How much gold did everybody get? Can you tell everybody what they got at the end of the day? And it's like, oh yeah, then they feel obligated to the party to be paying attention. And then they're going like, okay, now I need to remember where we're going, what we're doing, how far it was. And then they're focused and they feel engaged.
What can also help when especially if you're doing non-combat things with large groups, is grouping the kids so that if you're having like a couple of things happen, because if you have one situation with one NPC saying one thing to a group of 8 kids, that's not very much interaction for all of them. But if you group them into like group of 3, group of 3, group of 2, or 4 and 4, and you have not like different things going on, but like having, I guess, yeah, different things in parallel with each other so that there's openness with interactivity. But then, of course, no matter what, combat is always going to be like the easiest, most structured way to make sure everyone's getting spotlight.
On that note, I've done that before, and more often than not, one group finds themselves in combat without the other group. So having half the table roll initiative and then the other half still in conversation, I found not necessarily very appealing.
The thing that helps me with like groups that are easily distractible, especially if they're younger, is stating just some general goal for them of the session. Like, you guys are here right now. The overall goal of the session is this. Let's work our way towards that. Like without railroading them too much, because you still want them to be able to make their own decisions. Like, you know, the goal could be this, and it can go either way once you get there.
Good thing to establish at the start of a
Yes.
session. I think Tony, you had your hand up.
Yeah. How do you? I've found that like I usually plan for people around my age who are usually more like they. My friends especially want to poke around at every little bit because anything could be a Chekhov's gun. But for my kids, they're like, awesome. There's a giant sword in the corner made of cold iron, and we're gonna fight a demon. I'm gonna ignore that. Let's punch him in the face 20 times. How do you like pad out time? Because kids tend to move a lot faster through things.
I'll say that at least for me, one of the things that's been helpful enough is making it so that it's not just the players engaging in roles, it's the environment around them that's also engaging that as well. Especially, I've been running past few months mini dungeons. So they have to be mindful. Every time they step, there is something else out there that is hunting them. There's something that is out there that also has an intent that is working against them or is working with them. So they keep in mind for their roles ahead of time, like, okay, yeah, we can go beat up on this thing, but we have to be quick about it, or we have to be mindful about it, because of the fact that there could be something lurking around the corner. Find ways that you can at least introduce another bit of environmental storytelling, maybe, to help out with those instances where it's like, oh, okay, well, they just want to do one thing. Another distractor helps to focus the party.
So you're saying the combat goes really, really quickly in your table?
Not combat.
Oh, okay.
Everything else.
Yeah. I was about to say, like,
If you're writing like modules or dungeons, something that I've found helps a lot with reusability is like take your classic 5 dungeon, like give yourself a template, but then say these 3 bullet points are necessary. So for kids who are moving super, super slowly and not really engaging, or the adults who really, really, really want to poke at every single stone, it's a 3-room dungeon, but they hit the essentials, like they still got the theme of the dungeon. And if there's kids who are sprinting through it, they're like, oh, actually this is a 7-room dungeon. And here's a secret room that you just found with a puzzle that I know is gonna take you at least 10 minutes, God forbid, to figure out. But give yourself a path and then say like, here's what I think the most I could possibly put in it. Maybe it's 9 things are like possible, which should take any group moving as fast as there's no way you're gonna get through that much shit in 3 hours. So this is my biggest possible dungeon, and then here's my smallest possible dungeon, and play Legos with yourself. Build it as need be, as long as you're hitting your 3 bullet points. You're like 1 hour in, I need to be at milestone 2. Or they need to be at least working on it. So I found that helps, so that I get to reuse the dungeon 2, 3, 4 times with different groups, because then it's also still fresh for me, because I'm not copy pasting from one group to another, but I still get to flesh out this dungeon that I thought was fun enough to write down, without, it's not gonna get stale for me, which means I'm still engaging, and I'm more excited DM, which I think helps the.
A good way of doing that, what you were just saying, is when you know you're starting at one place and you're trying to get to here, there's a thing called node-based storytelling structure, where you start off, here I'll show everybody. This is where you start. You give them 3 options. right? So there's a one with a cold iron weapon, there's one with a cold iron shield, whatever, right? No matter what they choose, this will lead them down to here. And if you do that, you give them the illusion of a bunch of choices. Kind of like, okay, this is all the different Legos. You can save all of this. You just go here, here, here. All of this is still available for the next thing. Or if they need to backtrack and go, hey, this monster's too powerful for us. There's the place you came from, which you already know you went through and cleared out. But there's another option, there's door B. Let's find door number 2. And then you still have 3 rooms for them to discover there, in case they need more help and they come back to it. And that usually ends up in a 2-parter where you have your first 3 hours, your second 3 hours.
So, yeah, Andrew and Ben had thoughts.
So for keeping attention, I have a monster drop. If I go like this and people are not paying attention to whoever's turn it is, I get closer to the table. If my hand touches the table, I have now placed a TPK level monster. They listen. As soon as I go like this, I have people. Whoa. You know, like, so that's my go-to if, especially if I'm on the end of the table and I can't hear them. It's hard for them to interact with me. So that's my go-to to get attention. So my entire table will get quiet to let the one person. In order to make things last longer, I plan nothing. When I show up, I grab off the shelf what I think looks cool for today. And if I have to, like the 8-year-old table that I was running, they had a storyline-ish going until I could connect them back to the main storyline. And we were going out, and my entire concept was, what if Hamlet had good parents?
That the piece of the purpose of the play.
So we were on that for a month.
Oh my god.
We gotta find the uncle. We gotta figure out if he's coming back. Okay, now he's stolen by a demon. What's gonna happen with that demon? Now you've made a deal with him. Oh, now you have an entire pirate ship coated in blood. Like, it's that we got all of this out over a month. Absolutely no planning because the kids will make the scene for you if you aren't locked into a dungeon. And that's my play style. Part of what you're doing right now is figuring out your DM style, which means you're going to have tables that it's hard to have them pay attention. They're going to run out of everything you've got planned real quick.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
I am commonly the very first table done with the night because the kids have figured out everything I had planned at the top of session, and I had to figure out more while we were on break. That's what I use my breaks for, and then all of a sudden it's like 8:15. Everyone else is going strong, and my kids are like, "Are we done? Who's MVP?" And I'm like, "Let's figure that out now." And I use that extra time to be like, "This is what I'm looking for MVP," or "This is my like re-solidify at the beginning. These are my expectations of you at the table, and at the end, these are who followed my expectations the best." And that's my way to sort of use up some of that time if they get through stuff too quickly, is to reinforce how they should behave at my table. So,
Ben, you have more to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bring a couple of fidgets, and I'm not too precious about whether every kid is engaged the entire time. These are kids that spend 8 hours at school, and now they're sitting at another table. Like, if they're talking amongst themselves, you know what, they're enjoying some time with their friends, and so that's okay as long as it's not disruptive to everybody else.
Sometimes you gotta meet them where they're both in and out of game.
And I put markers around so they can doodle on the play mat.
Scratch paper, like they will be drawing some great stuff.
Yeah.
You got a question?
Just a thing to add as far as like driving narrative of a session. Like there are sessions sometimes where there's important content to cover as a party. But what I like to do there if the group is getting distracted or it's taking up a lot of time, like I'll keep my own timer behind the DM screen. Like I'll track what feels like it could be 3 to 5 turns worth of dialogue between players, and I'll just say, this is what's happening now. You guys have been busy amongst yourselves to this point. Now this guy comes up and he does this. What are you doing? And like you force a change of environment when you feel like enough time has passed for that. Because like the party is constantly doing their own thing, evolving and learning and growing. But I mean, this is ideally we're DMing for a living world as well. Like the world around them is also changing and adapting. So you, as the DM, are the god of this world. Like if something happens, that in the meantime, you can throw stuff at them to I don't like the word railroad, but like you can get them back on track and thinking about being productive instead of being social, or being social while being productive type thing.
With any timer, you can put the timer in front of them too.
Oh, that's-
I
guess-
I have a little hourglass
all
that I'll put out.
Like just
Don't tell them what it's about.
Yeah.
I just say 5 minutes, and they're like, what? 5 minutes till what? And I'm like,
Like I'll start the session and it's with a 1 hour
Oh,
clear,
yeah.
and then say in 1 hour something happens. Like whenever you think you're done, but like you have an hour.
Any other questions? Any other places to meet up?
Last thing I wanted to say about that was I always tell the kids like talking in character is always a reaction. It gets them more in their character. It gets them like more invested in the world and in their characters. Like talking character as much as you want.
When I was doing the novel tables, every time I would turn from one table to the other one, I would say, have a conversation in character, I'll be right back. And then I went to the other one, and I would rather not do that.
I did have a question about, you said something about MVP earlier. I took over for Riley's table last week, and I had never come across the MVP thing. Is there like
Oh, there's a thing in back where you hand out the prize. You let them pick out of the bin the prize that they want.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize. I thought we covered that during the interviews and stuff. I do apologize. We should probably reiterate that as well.
Yeah, they can pick out of the jar. They get a $5 coupon. The jar is in the back. It's got a yellow top. It's over on the shelf, typically near the lost and found. If you know what
So
that's
if I'm walking in, I'm facing the computer. As I hit the table, I'm going to turn to my left, and I'm going to look up, and I'm going to see a bright yellow jar. I'm going to reach very far into my
Sorry about that.
I'm
to get that.
So
I'll
now,
say it well further down.
so
Well, the kids on it.
It's at Tony height.
So the rules on that, as I understand them, you don't have to do an MVP. And the way I do it is I let them know why that kid is the MVP. I'm like, you showed improvement on listening. Not that they were the best listener. You showed a lot of improvement on listening. And I tried to make it so that the same kid doesn't get it.
You don't want to have
and I was hesitant to do anything about it because like it wasn't my table and they were in the middle of the thing. But I was like, oh, I thought the two of you did like really good tonight. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I like walked away. I was like, I feel like everyone else had expectations.
So the Michael Jordan of MVP prizes.
I would like to ask, do we have to do MVP? Because
You don't have to. No.
Okay.
I often don't.
Yeah.
No, did I get MVP?
Sometimes
It's
Yeah, I know,
do
I was
get
just like-
Is there an MVP tonight? I go, what did you do?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I'm
They're every table like, well, you what? You didn't open a book. You didn't pull a lever. You didn't. Every single track line. That you argue with one another. There's not really. Or if it's just more of a conversation thing, it's like, yeah, you guys went shopping. You want MVP for the best outfit? Like, what do you want to do? You're like, oh, yeah, the joint. It's like, I mean, if they like really kill it and they negotiate and do stuff, it's like, yeah, everybody else
try to do the most things.
you handled, you talked about
It doesn't
stuff,
have to
you
be
learned
that.
something, you engaged the shopkeeper. If it's something like that, if it's a narrative thing, it's like I said, to everybody else. If they're going to go shopping and it's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. If they just go and they buy a bunch of stuff and leave, there's no need for an MVP. But if one of the kids goes up and says, hey, you're an old wizard that's a retired adventurer. Tony mentioned this. Hey, do you have any tips? Do you have anything? And then I always, as the shopkeeper, I'll tell the kids. Because then they're talking, that's the one thing I always want to remind the kids. You're talking to me when you're talking to these characters. I'm showing you the world. I am the world. Talk to me. And I want to help you guys out and give you tips and ideas and stuff. So, more so than my adult players, I like to remind them that you were just talking to each other. So people get in this headspace where it's like, okay, he's gonna hide everything. They're gonna just not do this. They're gonna try to control everything. It's like, no. Sometimes I want to tell you, like, walk. Okay, when you get to that bridge, walk on the left side. Why? Because 20 years ago, I walked on the right side, and you'll still see the hole where I fell through.
So yeah, rewarding their curiosity and
Yeah.
adaptability. Engage in it.
Yeah, what's up?
Lately, I've been asking the kids when they are like, "Who's MVP?" I will say, "Make your case for who you think." I go around the table. Make your case for who you think should get it, and then we vote. You can't vote for yourself.
I personally do this thing where, because
You're a huge magic item?
hold on, I'm gonna justify my huge magic item.
Silence.
So, well, when starting out, similarly, I was getting barraged with who's MVP, and I was just like, I don't know, you did okay, but they kept asking, and I was just like, okay, I'm done with that, with the berating me for MVP. Even if like in session they'll do this thing where they think they did something good, and then they'll be like, "So am I MVP?" I'm like, "No, stop." So I tell my kids, I'm like, "Okay, I give MVP once at the end of the month to the up to 2 people I think deserve it, if there was anything that was worth it." And I state my just like bottom line what you need for MVP, and it's not a lot. It's pay attention, play like you don't have to necessarily like be like always in agreement with the party, but play with the party, because if you're not helping the table and no one's having fun, this isn't D&D, or this isn't a game that we're playing to enjoy. And from that point, you are viable for MVP in my eyes. So you don't have to do it all the time. If at all. You should do it sometimes though.
Do you have any recommendations for when you're taking over a table and like substituting at a table and you're working through something and they're like, well, we did it. Like there's a conversation or like it gets disruptive with people being, well, we've done it this way before. Like we do it like this. We do that. Like this is how, or it's like a lot of correction of like how things are normally done.
What are you saying?
I start covering a table saying this is an anime filler arc. The only thing that matters is the items that I give you.
Okay.
The story doesn't matter, and this is my table, and this is my ruling, and then next week it'll be someone else's table. But right now, I am the DM.
Yeah, it is that thing of like, I understand you're at my table right now, and I'm going to say this. Yep, I understand. No, I hear you. We're going to do it this way.
Is there any concern about kids sort of feeling like they're here for like one narrative experience, like one storyline, and then like they come on another night and it's like
Honestly, I haven't had that much when I've had to fill in for tables. They just want to play D&D, whether it's they're riding seahorses at the bottom of the ocean. I'm doing seahorse jousting. You throw something funny at them, no. I've done it. It's fun.
It's also it's important for the kids to understand that different DMs are going to play differently. Different people are going to play differently. Different people are going to have different boundaries when it comes to different things. Like that is just the way the world works.
Right. That's why I'll explain to kids sometimes if I'm not going to be there, they're like, "Oh, who are we going to get? Who are we going to get?" And then I'm like, "Listen, guys, when you go to school, do you have the same teacher for math, science, everything else? No. Would you want your math teacher trying to explain science to you? Would you want this person to? They're like, do you want to have the same teacher all the time? Well, no, because you have the Fun 5 teacher that you get to do this. The math teacher lets you do that. That's what DMs are. We're shifting around, and that way you get a more balanced D&D education. So when you guys go out, you're not just, well, this is the way I've always done it because this is the DM I've always had. Now they can go, well, I got to play in a whimsical campaign. I got to play in a Michael Bay kind of explosions and everything going off all the time campaign. I had a very cerebral campaign. They're more adjusted to that. And most of the time they don't care. They're like, oh, okay, I get to seahorse joust. Let's ball, dude. Let's go.
It also prepares them for the type of play that would be happening in the dungeon crawl.
Yes.
This is the other thing, is that there is very different ways in which that, if you're going to be doing a dungeon crawl, that they're going to engage with the play styles there. And it's multiple DMs running that. So keeping that in mind, like, keeping that thought.
Anthony,
Is there like about magic items? I fear I may have made a mistake. Once I gave a child a 9 lives stealer. I apologize if that child has come to your table, and I would like to
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
I would like to ask.
That's what I say when you have a really powerful magic item. It's like, cool. Where'd you get that? I never gave that to you. They're like, well, I'll give it to you.
Right now, that it's usually Travis gave it to
No,
me.
that's what happens. Like, oh, when I'll give it to you, I go,
Glenn has a different rule. Don't bring any of his stuff anywhere.
That's his thing. I'm not Glenn.
Different.
Dude, we look a little different.
The thing with that too, so and sometimes if you have that same thing, but it's not past another DM and now it's being passed to you, but rather you gave a magic item to a player and you're later regretting giving that magic item to the player. I have had that. And what I found the most success with was collectively as a table, we started to understand that a certain player's magic item was creating a negative play experience. It was making making fights go way too quickly. It was just like they were dealing upwards of like hundreds and hundreds of damage. It was ridiculous. I'm not talking about you, Tommy. I'm talking about somebody else. But with that, because that, even to compare to you and how you played, your power level was contributing to the story, and you were showcasing that you could still prioritize the story, whereas this player was prioritizing showing off how strong his character was, and it became like an ongoing conversation of like, wow, that feels very powerful, that feels like a little bit lopsided, and what it ended up being was I killed him. But this is the way I handle player death is I'll look at them and go,
player
okay,
death.
do you want your character?
There's a reason we don't see him anymore, guys.
Not a sword.
What do you think all those summer camp sparkling
Is this the end of your character? No. Okay, you can continue playing your character, but you're going to have to lose something. And I looked that kid in the eye and said, you can continue playing this character, but I think that those bracers need to go.
What bracers were there by chance?
They were bracers of multiplication. They made arrows. So you would fire arrows, and then you roll a d4, and that's how many arrows came out. And then also he was a monk and had a special bow that he could use with flurry of blows, so it's flurry of shots. So he was just like shooting like 16, and say he critted ever. You know, like you were doing, like he could have reached upwards of 1,000 damage, and it was stupid. And it was because of a combination of magic items that he just ended up having that all fitted together and created a thing. I was like, all right, that needs to go. And he even understood. He was like, yep, I understand, because it had been a constant conversation, it had been a constant thing. And if a kid's gonna be resistant to that, it's like, well, you gotta lose something, okay? Because your character died. So either I need you to roll up a new character or no.
Well, and it helps if you give them a narrative out too.
Yeah.
Like, bracers of infinity arrows. Like, hey, there's an entire army of Hell Knights that are like marching, and this town's gonna be overrun, and you can either lose the town and all the civilians, or we can evacuate all the civilians. Like one person needs to make a stand, and maybe if that one person had the ability to shoot 12 million arrows, they'd stand a chance, and then they die Halo Reach style. But then
with spoilers,
that's worthy of sacrifice, and it plucks them out of the afterlife. Like you give them a narrative, give them a hero ending, and they won't mind so much that you took their favorite toy, because they got to use the favorite toy in the coolest possible way. How could they ever top that? So now you didn't steal it from them; they finished an arc of the story.
Right. Oh, I got obliterated by that giant robot.
and you're cognizant of this in the teens campaign too. We play. Utility is an important thing to consider as well. The idea that like, okay, if someone brings a magical item to your table, I like the idea of, oh, there's some narrative purposes. There's something weird going on here with your magic item. I don't like the idea of robbing too much of my players' autonomy and like the way they want to play. Obviously, the power fantasy is the thing that a lot of people get drawn into. But the thing is that you gotta again look at it from that perspective, like, oh, maybe it's single use in this instance, or maybe again, like in the teens campaign with Hank's character, where he found that Ord gun, it siphons away your life every time you use it.
Oh, geez.
And it's like, all right, you got to be cognizant of every time you use this weapon. Is it going to be a world-ending experience? It might not be great to use it in a cave when you're surrounded by rocks that could make you, cave in on you immediately.
He's referring to the time we dropped an artificial sun on our heads.
You got anything?
It's more so related to the dungeon crawl.
Sure.
Okay.
What's up?
What does that look like? Like I've heard you're saying.
Okay. So what that looks like is
Everyone, give me your best 1,000-yard stare.
So this year it's going to be here. Okay. My goal is 6 tables, double line. There'll be 7 DMs on the day. I'll be there as like the head DM to help explain the stuff that I do. Each DM that runs for the dungeon crawl is going to get a deck. The dungeon is deck generated. You're going to have system me and Ian came up with. So, you get the deck.
Bless you.
My goal is I'm going to have it done.
Bless you. Bless you.
By the first week of May is my goal. If it's the second, I will get you your decks. Everybody who's running, I'll get you your decks. I want you to go through your deck, and I want you to pick out what you like. Okay? Have extra cards left over for like, okay, second chance. Sometimes I'll give you the whole deck, and just people will run the deck as is and go like, no, we ball. It's a system. And go in a row. It'll be a very concise description of what is going on in that room. So it's set because before I'd have a script and that didn't work. So a card just, okay. Door, it'll say door, you have your door cards, you have the room cards, you have the hallway cards. Enemy card. So you go to the room, it'll say enemy, and it'll say what kind of enemy, you have the stat left there. It'll just say, okay. Enter a room, the walls are multiple shades of blue. There's overhead lighting and a beholder in the corner. And you just nod and go, okay, see beholder card. That's boogie. That's it. Like that. Or there'll be stuff along the way just so they can find. There'll be secret rooms that'll have, that's usually where we have the wall items, which we're going to be putting up physical items around the room that the players can win. And then me at the head DM table, I'll have the stat cards with everything that it does. Is how that'll work. And then that goes from 10 until 5. That is all that's happening that day.
And by contrast, I don't know yet who will be doing it, but it'll probably be much smaller. But the teens dungeon crawl tends to look like 50% about the same. Like you've got the multiple large tables. There are less kids in general with teens, so it is inevitably a smaller event. Usually, my style with how I've done things for the teens crawl is, no matter what the nature of the dungeon is, I'm usually giving, here is a page or 2-page explanation of a room. And the room is full of like complexities. It'd be the equivalent of like 5 cards from the deck for a kids crawl. And then usually it's like a matter of pacing, like, okay, each table is going to go through, 2 to 4 rooms before, and through these rooms they need to achieve this similar model. It just ends up being that like the room size ends up being wider, and there ends up being less things happening.
It's more nuanced. It's a teens table.
Yeah. And so typically teens dungeon crawl doesn't end up having the wall items just because they're older. I mean, you know, some of them might still be interested in, I mean, Lord knows I'm still interested in plastic swords. But who isn't? Who the fuck isn't? Yeah, so like, and prizes typically take a different shape. It takes a different tone. But looks somewhat similar, a little less chaotic.
The goal is for this one in the past, the most kids we've had has been, I want to say 48.
Okay.
Goal is for here to just add 12 more to have 60 kids. I think that's a very manageable goal between Bloomington and Minneapolis. It's very manageable with all the kids we have. I'm gonna go through and because I would like for people when we do our tables going forward, guys, to start pitching the dungeon crawl. Hey, remember, dungeon crawl, it's on this day. Dungeon crawl, it's on this day. It's 13th this year. So on this day, June.
Okay.
June and December is when we have it. So I believe that's the date. I may be wrong. It's either 13th or 14th this year. Start pitching out. Hey, remember, if you haven't signed up already, dungeon crawl.
Sign up is live.
What's that?
Sign up is live. We could just have the
Sign up is live. Yes, I want them to be able to sign up now. Because the sooner they can sign up to it, the more they're locked in. And then what I do is as soon as I have the first rush and I'm like, okay, it's the third week of May, I'll look at it and go, okay, this is who we have. I go against our roster. I go, hey, I don't have, I'll just say people might think, I don't have Johnny, Cora, Ivor, like, what is it that? Okay, hold on. I make sure to go over those kids, hey, dungeon crawl, you guys need, like, remember, okay, dude, I got swim meet that day, I got this guy, okay, fine. But just make sure you're touching base with everybody at your table, because this is the extravaganza, we only have 2 a year, and it's the cornerstone of each 6-month leg of the campaign.
Right.
You only get 3 of these per campaign.
not to challenge anyone else. But what if I'm
Wow, we're just beating up on
what if I'm like, hey, how many of you have like signed up? Alright, you signed up? Raise your hand. You've signed up? Oh, you've signed up?
We have flyers.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm taking that.
Is that? And the week beforehand, I call everybody on the list to remind them, and then the day before. Hey, dungeon crawl tomorrow. Dungeon crawl, every crawler gets a swag bag. There are MVP prizes for the tables, no matter what. The person who's like, okay, your table, okay, I go to the DMs, okay, your table, who's MVP of your table? So be ready for that if you get picked. All right, this is MVP of the table. The prizes are roughly the same. I'm trying to keep them roughly the same cost, same as glamour. And it is the wall items on top. That's my way of pacing the dungeon. Because the kids are looking for a magic secret room in every room, they're gonna slow down. Once I implemented that, that was a wrap. Everybody stopped just trying to go, okay, we need to get from here to there, get to the door, we'll be first in the door. Okay. You sure you don't want to look anywhere else? And all of a sudden they realize there are secret rooms, and it's like, oh, he got to bring home a suit of armor. Like, he's wearing armor when he goes home. Oh no. He has a boomerang on the wall. Some of that'll happen. All right. Any other things before we move on to the next thing?
I just want to clarify about the dungeon crawl. So is it, you said like it's like 7 hours?
Yeah.
Is it like, it's like rotating tables or is like,
No,
or
you
like,
are with one table.
with one table per 7?
Like roughly 12 kids.
Okay. Roughly 12 kids.
One, that's why I want 6 tables.
Yes.
Is to go like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're at table 1, you're at table 2, you're at table 5, so on. Get to the table. And then from about, the goal is to get everybody started. We tell everybody to show up at 9 so we can get all the logistics figured out. Here's your loot bag, here's your table, here's all this stuff. All right. Bring them in, they get to see the decorated dungeon. Ooh, wow. Start the tables at 10. Try to make sure we have lunch at 1:30. We're done there. As soon as we're back, they get to do what, because the morning period is essentially them getting through the dungeon. We want to get them through it. From about 1:30 until we end, they get me. And that's the boss fight. And they all come together. And I run all the kids.
the boss fights are terrifying. We fought the concept of fear for Devin's Dungeon Crawl.
Got a death for ours, and it's always a big thing for them. So how I'm gonna do 60, I'm still working on that. But that's my goal. I was able to sit there and break up into 2 teams. Okay, this team, you forgot what you're doing. You guys roll off. So who's got the power? Who's got the luck? And I just went, all right. You have this much time to plan. What are you doing? Go around the table a couple times. All right, your time's up. This table, they didn't take out the boss. Now it's your turn. The kids went, oh crap.
Yeah,
And
but
then
as
that's
long as it's not like I'm not trying to run one dungeon straight for 10 hours. That's all
It'll take you like 10 minutes.
I'm gonna eat all 10 rooms.
All right, so that's so there's that bit. We got a time crunch here. So business. If anybody wants what I'll do is whenever I get a birthday party, bachelor party, anything into my events form, I am not going to be taking them. I don't want to take. It's not that I don't want to. I need to feed everybody else. Okay? This is going to tie into something in a minute. I need to get you guys games. So if we get something outside of work, boom, you guys are going to be going like, I think it's a $400 fee for us to DM outside of the store. Whenever we DM outside the store, 2 DMs go for safety. I've gone by myself. I'm not going to do that again. Sorry, just a minute. So that's what we're going to do for that. I'm going to put it in the Slack. Whenever I get gigs that are non-tower gigs, somebody comes up to me and says, hey, I hear you got a big stable of DMs. I go, yes, indeed. We get jobs. I'm going to put that in the Slack, into the Dungeon Masters thing. They're not always going to be glamorous, but they're jobs to get your name out there. And I want to help you guys, those of you who want to become professional DMs, and stop the 9 to 5, and this is what you want to do, we can get you there. If there's any resources you guys need, me and Travis are going to go to the nth of our ability and our connections to help you get there, okay? One of those is, I know Devin's interested, but the Swedish Institute offered us a room coming up soon to run a North-themed adventure, a campaign that's going to be happening. So that's one such gig that's come up. I know this summer we're planning on trying to get to some breweries. And so my things that I'm planning on doing. We also, when I was in Kentucky last month, we got an opportunity, and I put it on the Slack to go to Gen Con and give a Gen Con. I'm be getting more of those kind of gigs because I'll be going to more and more of these things. So as soon as I find out about the stuff, I'll put it in the Slack. You guys please get back to me about who's available and who's not. If there are any games you'd like to run for one-shots, let me know. I want to have one-shots both here and at Minneapolis. What else?
And the idea is that these one-shots be games that Tower Games sell.
So Tower Games sell? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I have a thing here. Yes, what's up?
If we don't currently have it on the shelf, and we run it by Devin, be like, hey,
see if we can get see if we can get
See if we can get it in. If you're gonna run something, make sure you speak to either Devin or Nova, so we have it in stock. So we have at least 3 copies when people come to play. Yes.
Would you be posting those opportunities in the Dungeon Master group chat? Or
Yes.
would we, okay.
Yeah, and it's like, no. All that stuff, I'm gonna go Dungeon Masters thing. Hey guys, got a job for you. I'll put it in all caps. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Here it is. I'm gonna add something real quick. For the next campaign, keep the ideas coming. That's gonna be for some of you guys who are brand new. You haven't been at some of the meetings we've had. That's the right now it's a construct king. It's thing we're going through. It's set well after the main campaign they had for 3 years previous to the animation. If you have any ideas about any cool new spells you'd like to see, any new monsters, NPCs, basically anything we might want to run into, pass them along to either Devin, myself, Dan, or Glenell, since we'll be the head people on this, writing it up. I did mention before we are planning on making a module, like a published printed module
To put on the shelf.
to put on the shelf. So there's gonna be the one we run for the kids, and then there's gonna be the one that's printed and it's meant for grown-ups, and that's where the editing part comes in. As I said before, I'm probably not gonna be taking a whole lot of jobs at the store because Ian and Patrick, sorry, I remember my group. Ian and Patrick have been moved up to assistant managers, so they're running Bloomington and Minneapolis. So my job of being floor manager and being day to day there all the time has gone away, and along with it, I've been asked not to do any more DMing on the weekend. So I'm going to be stepping out of that role, so someone else is going to move to my table. I'm going to announce that at the beginning of the month to the kids. I'm still going to be in charge of creative. I'm still going to be talking to. Dan's going to take my place as head DM over at Minneapolis. So, if you have any problems, go to Dan. Dan will come to me. If you have any problems, go to Devin. Devin will come to me. Weirdly, I'm still in charge of the event. I just don't get to have the fun. But that's okay. I still get to do dungeon crawls. I'll be able to step in once in a while to DM. But doing the weekly, that's done now. So, really sad to see it go that way. But hey, I've worked at this 4 years now, and I've seen kids D&D for towers in very capable hands, and it's time for me to take a couple steps back to let somebody else take the lead. So.
Built it for 4 years. The word said built it.
I say you're writing a book now. So
What's that?
you're writing a book now. So
Yeah.
Dude, you trained the next generation of DMs. I'm positive there's at least a few kids in there who are willing to become DMs, as I did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and just ask that we just because of our being able to be here, being able to do this. When I call for a round of applause for Tony for
I know that guy.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have our next meeting in May, and I'll plan that out and get back to you guys soon. Put that on the DM chat, and I'll figure out a place for us to get some eats. You guys got any suggestions around here? Let me know. Even though I know Bloomington pretty well. What's up? Not bad.
I gotta get some
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, the road trip was pretty good.
I just want to make a real quick
What's up, bro?
request that for the module
Yes.
on there's a channel, and I just want to make sure everyone's on the channel.
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. And any ideas, any questions, just throw it in there. If you have ideas that you think sounds cool and maybe you don't even know if it applies, just vomit it in there.
Yeah.
Because we want to get as much as we can for this module.
And to keep in mind as well, you all will be, for whatever you have contributed, you will also get writing credits on the book.
Yeah.
Like the four of us, we're doing the designing, so I mean we're still going to be like doing the having like kind of the final say in a lot of things. But like, please vomit ideas at us.
Because you will be credited, and that's going to be something you can put on your resume that you were a writer on a published.
about what's in the Slack, they're still waiting for quest ideas.
Yes.
Are you going to put in more things? Like,
There's
should
no
I
link in the
put
middle.
it straight in the Slack, or should I wait for you to be like,
No,
here's
just throw it in.
spells.
Because then
Just throw it in.
the four of us will go through it and be like, okay, that's an art thing.
Yep.
It's a lore monster thing. We go like this.
Yep.
I just put it all. Go like, yep.
It's like, I'd definitely be more likely to contribute if I had like, not like one giant bucket, but like give me buckets of ideas. And
Right.
Yeah,
So right now, for the sake of it, just vomit ideas, and then I'll sort through. I'll go through them, and then I'll make other documents sorting them in there, so that I have there's a more concise idea for each bucket.
I'm sorry, I'm being a bit of an airhead here, but what is the context of this dungeon crawl?
Yes. What the upcoming dungeon crawl is the parties should be, and I apologize, I was going to have that, and then I got onto the whole my piece thing. The context of this next dungeon crawl is you want to get them to a fortress. The last dungeon crawl was them assaulting a ironclad. This one is a fortress. The thing they need to get is a compass from the boss that leads to their true base. Because the idea is kind of like how the Dutch and the Portuguese were after Japan and their main base was in Macau. This is the Rotweiss Macau. It's an island that's far away, but that's their base. And that's the whole third act. Is the players going, okay, we need to gather our forces, we need to, get everybody on our side that we can, and then we go and attack this. But in order to do that, they need to get the charter, the book, and the compass to see where it is these people are coming from, where their base is. Third act, I'll tell you now, third act is hitting that fortress. It's gonna be a mega dungeon. They get that, they break up the base. That's it. The Rotweiss's power in this hemisphere is over. The Raishuans and the Yokai can live in peace and never have to worry about outside colonization again. And that's where that ends. And then, as we said from the last campaign, the previous campaign, the camera shifts back to the planet that we just started on, and we're back there several hundred years in the future.
Yeah. With
post-apocalypse.
same question, but for the teens campaign, this upcoming dungeon crawl will function more as like a narrative interruption to all of the teens table stories.
Oh, like with the train.
What?
The train dungeon crawl, and the train that was going through the time dimension.
That was a previous dungeon crawl. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was more of an interlude than a continuation.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah, it's going to so. But the thing that I will ask the teens DMs to do in the next couple of months, rather than steer the players towards anything in particular, like focus on like the narratives that you've already built or that are building, with the plot devices that are in play. The dungeon crawl is going to be a interplanar court, or I should say court/prison, called the Platinum Apparatus. All of the players are going to be charged with committing crimes against, perjuring against their timelines and disrupting timelines. So, all of the teens DMs, please make a note of any big things that any of the players do that make waves, and pass those notes to me so that I know what the judge or what the prosecution is charging the players. So it will be equal parts prison break and also trial.
And you're not hearing any of this.
Yes.
I know that's a team tables problem.
Yes.
But also, while we're doing the wrap up of this week at Kids D&D, this week at Kids D&D channel, could we also bold that so it'd be like, hey, we did really good things, and then you could just scroll through and look for bold.
Like what the defense has to say.
Or like, no, we would be like, hey, our kid definitely committed a crime here. Look at this crime. Hold it so that you can look back and reference it.
I see.
As you're writing it, so we would heads up, hey, the kids definitely did something today.
Highlight
Starting
bold
to-
just at a glance.
In your thing, just in your
reports.
Yeah, if you want to do that, highlight it with, we'll say purple. Highlight it purple to let me know that is something. But also message me in addition, because I might miss that. But I will actively try to look for that. Also, Tony, not a word of any of that.
Better not. Yeah.
Just for context, Tony
still plays.
Yeah.
You know it's there.
No, you're good. So, shh.
I'm a generous boss.
These are not the spoilers we were looking for.
Who are you people? All right. You're staying in charge of Teens D&D for the time being?
Yeah.
Figured, but I would ask. Are the teens leveling up? Have we decided yay or nay on that yet?
My understanding is some of the tables have leveled up. So,
Our table has, yes.
What level are y'all?
Yes, we're level 6 now.
Okay,
I would
so
say
we're just
hit-
behind you.
Hit no higher than 6.
This is how
And
you
then I
find
think
out.
after the dungeon crawl, I'll let them go to 7.
Okay,
And
so
we'll have
7 right before the dungeon crawl.
After the dungeon crawl. So 6 before the dungeon
6 in the dungeon crawl. Cool.
Yep.
And
Dude, how
With
is
that
getting
said,
anything cool at 6?
Thank you all so much. Tower's going to be the epicenter of Kids D&D in Minnesota soon, as it has already become. yes, I told a bunch of funny stories and brought on some wonderful people, but you guys made kids team. So I really appreciate it.
Bungie zombie, Plants vs. Zombies 2. That may or may not be who I'm quoting.
Damn, look at that waveform.
If I wasn't sick, you could hear it ringing through the walls.
I'll give you less flack for that.
Bro's ill.
You actually know that.
No.
All right.
Votre toast, je peux vous le rendre, Seigneur, Seigneur, car avec les soldats, oui, les toreros peuvent s'entendre, pour plaisir, ils ont les combats. Le cirque est plein ce jour de fête, le cirque est plein d'automate. Le spectateur est dans la tête, le spectateur c'est un peu après fracasse, apostrophe, puis c'est ta page, pour c'est jusqu'à ce l'empereur, car c'est la fête du courage, c'est la fête des chiens de guerre. Allons, en garde. Allons, toréador, en garde, toréador, et songe bien, oui, songe combattant, que le noir te regarde, et que le mort t'attend, toréador, l'amour t'attend. Tout d'un coup, on fait silence, à quoi se passe-t-il? Le taureau se lance en bannissant auditorie. Il s'élance, il entre frappe en chevelure, entraînant un pic d'or. Ah bravo taureau, il le foule, le taureau va, il vient, et frappe encore, en secouant ses banderilles, plein de fureur il coule, le cirque est plein de sang, en ses sauts, en franchit le crie, c'est un temps maintenant, allons, en garde, allons, toréador, en garde, toréador, et songe bien, oui, songe combattant, que le noir te regarde, et que l'amour t'attend, toréador, l'amour t'attend, toréador, l'amour t'attend.
500 cigarettes.
What do you today?